the past couple of days, Sony has faced a whirlwind of controversy because of Stellar Blade censorship, but also Helldivers 2. Their new PSN requirements infuriated the gaming industry, and there were hundreds of thousands of people who began demanding refunds, review bombing this game, but now Sony has actually decided to listen to us for once, walking back on this decision. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, of course, this is a major win for gamers to actually have a company like Sony listen to us for once, but there's still a lot of questions surrounding this. This is the post they decided to make at midnight. Helldivers fans, we have heard your feedback on Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning on May 30th, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. Now, right off the bat, I have to say this is such a massive win for Helldivers 2 fans and for gamers in general. To have a massive company like this actually listening to us is amazing, but let's be honest, if it was not for the millions of people requesting refunds, leaving negative reviews, threatening to boycott their game, this would not have happened. So it is because of us that this happened, but I don't think, unfortunately, that this one move really lets PlayStation off the hook, because over the years, they have done so many questionable things and so many times turned their backs on us gamers, just like with the recent Stellar Blade situation. They have not addressed the censorship, they have not put out any updates about it, and about their plans for the future of the game, and of course, they're not going to, because they're not actually going to uncensor a game like that. But with Helldivers 2, because there are so many millions of people who bought this game, who have been loving it, and who were vocal, luckily, we actually were listened to this one time, and people are praising them for this decision, saying this is what you should have done from the very beginning. They could have saved themselves days of backlash and scrutiny and millions of people threatening to boycott their game if from the very get-go they had listened. And we heard from one of the community managers that this was the plan all along, that 6 to 8 months ago they found out that this was the plan before the game even launched, but they never were transparent about it. And that makes me question, what other plans do they have for this game and for, of course, future games that they're not telling us? But people are saying things like, gamers win, this is amazing. Are they actually learning? Thank you for listening to consumers on this. Hopefully we can talk about censorship next. Now, can everyone quit taking this out on the Helldivers 2 devs? They ended up in the crossfire for this, and it wasn't fair to them, as they were doing what they were contractually obligated to do. And while I agree the developers did not receive as much backlash as Sony did, the people that work at Arrowhead still deserved some scrutiny, because they all failed to mention that this was even going to take place months ago. Before the game even launched, they knew that this was the plan, and of course over the past few months since release, that was the plan. Somebody needed to communicate that, and those are the people who work at Arrowhead. The community managers who work for this company should have said something. The CEO should have said something. I mean, even the developers could have been mentioning it in posts, because if you look at things like patch notes and whatnot, those are done by developers. Those are not done by community managers, at least most of the time. So they still should have been transparent from the beginning. And of course, this has actually led to Helldivers' Steam page going back up in ratings. It was currently sitting at overwhelmingly negative, and now it's sitting at mixed again. And I do think it's going to go back into the positive zone, because so many people are so very happy with them. But there's still a lot of questions. Like, Sony only had just recently doubled down on the PSN requirements by taking it off sale for PC in 100 in 77 countries. What are they going to do about that? Are they going to put it back up for sale in the next few days in those countries? Are they going to leave it down, which to me screams the fact that they are just going to slowly implement this? Like, what is their plan? They did not answer a lot of questions that we have. And of course, going forward, I'd love for this to be, a shift in Sony. They have the PlayStation, which is a massive platform. Lots of people love PlayStation. I love my PlayStation, don't get me wrong, but over the years, we have learned time and time again to not trust Sony. I've talked about it so much just on my channel alone, and while this is a major one, look at all of these different things that they still should be talking about, things that we still have questions about, things they have to sort out. The Stellar Blade censorship, their near, anime streaming service monopoly has been on a lot of people's minds. While yes, there are still alternatives, having them merge Crunchyroll and Funimation has made a lot of people very weary, especially with the news that they're going to continue to raise the prices. We recently heard that PlayStation allegedly wants to split games into multiple purchases totaling $150. We had, when the Crunchyroll and Funimation mergers happened, hundreds of purchases disappearing from people's libraries. We, of course, have had Sony slammed by indie devs over insane fees, terrible policies, and bad communication. Also, the dozens of instances of censorship. Sony still has a long way to go, and that's what I'm trying to say, and this is such a great thing to see happen, is them actually listening to us for once. And I do think that Sony and of course Arrowhead deserve praise for this, but there are still a lot of questions, and I would not just say, Sony's gonna start listening to the consumers magically, because they have proven time and time again that they don't really care about our feedback. They just care about their bottom line. And with this Helldivers situation, they saw it was turning into a nightmare for them. They were getting lots of refund requests, even though we were hearing that they were denying a lot of them. We had the Steam user scores tanking. And I think that that is what really, really affected this the most. In only a couple of days, hundreds of thousands of negative reviews being piled onto this game. I mean, as you can see, recent reviews, 300,000 of them in only a few short days, really screams the lengths that gamers are willing to go to try to protect the content that they love, and a game that they've been supporting for months, which is so fantastic to see. And this should be taken as a major win. I just would not sit here and be praising Sony too much. They've proven time and time again that we really should not be, blindly trusting them and putting our faith into them. So there are still a lot more questions that we have, again, like the regions that they removed the game from sale. Are they going to put it back up for sale? Are they going to leave it down? And if so, why are they leaving it down? For the people who were already not able to access their version of the game because they were in those regions, is that going to change in the next day or two and they'll get access back to their product? Lots of questions. Hopefully Arrowhead or Sony answers this within the next coming days. I will be keeping my eye on the situation, but this is a massive win for gamers and also Helldivers fans. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.